We're starting a
Hello, hello, and welcome to the Visionary Leaders Community Call. My name is Arin Fugate, and I'm one of the founding members of the Visionary Leaders Collective. And we're so happy that you're here with us today. We talk every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We put it up as a podcast afterwards and on YouTube. So whether you're with us live or you're listening on the go, we are happy that you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about cleansing and clearing the home. But before we dive into our subject, Ariana Harley is going to guide us through a meditation with spearmint. Take it away, Ariana.
Hi, everybody. So if you have your spearmint handy, I would grab it. This is a really great oil for a day. Yay! For a day like today in Portland, Oregon, it's pouring rain. So I need a little waking up. So the first thing I'd like to invite you to do before we do our breath is actually just take a drop and put it on the tip of your tongue. This is a really yummy one, and see if there's any memories that spring up. Spearmint often is something that we've been introduced to as children, so see if it reminds you of anything. And then you can go ahead and take a drop of spearmint and drop it in your hand, and go ahead and rub your hands together. And while you're breathing the spearmint in, a very deep, full breath through the nostrils. And see if you can breathe it in for the count of 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then hold the breath in for 5. And then go ahead and exhale and have that last the count of 5. And then hold the breath out for a count of 5. We're going to do that again, all together. Inhaling in. You can also use a mantra or a prayer if you don't want to count. Holding the breath. Exhaling to the count of 5. And then holding the breath out. And then we're going to one more time do the same breath. But this time, as you're breathing in, see if you can notice if there's anywhere the spearmint wants to go, or any part of your body you notice when you breathe it in. I'm really noticing it in my head and in my lungs and in my eyes. See if there's any part of your body that you're like, oh, hi, spearmint. And exhaling and putting your feet on the ground if they are not already, and just taking a moment to thank spearmint for hanging out with you. And when you're finished, just notice if you feel any different than when you started. Spearmint is a great oil for waking up. It's really great for children. It's softer than peppermint. It's great for the mind. It's great for if we feel feverish, and it's also really great for communication. So this is an oil that you can use in times if you're going to have an important conversation, if you're about to talk on a Zoom call. So it is the perfect intro oil, and it's also a gorgeous oil for spring.
Thank you, Ariana. I love spearmint so much, and perfect segue. Spearmint is actually one of my favorite oils to put in my all-purpose counter spray. And that's part of what we're going to be talking about today. So I'll definitely give you my recipe. My recipe is I'm kind of like a kitchen witch, so I don't really do measurements. So I have a 16-ounce glass spray bottle, and I squeeze some On Guard concentrated cleaner in it. Maybe it's a tablespoon, I don't know. And then I put about 20 drops of spearmint, 10 drops of thyme, and another 20 drops of lime. And I fill that up with water. And I love the way it smells, and thyme is super anti everything. So it's a great cleaner for counters and all. We're going to be talking about making your own cleaning products, cleaning your home with the oils. And we're also going to be talking about cleansing the energy of your home with oils. So first, let me introduce you to Kierstin. She is one of our visionary leaders. She has a beautiful doTERRA business that she has built, and she is a mama. How many now? 5, a mom of 5. So she knows what it takes to keep a house clean with very little time. And she's going to share and probably also talk about saving money. So she's going to share a little bit about cleaning your home with oils. Take it away, Kierstin.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Yep, oils are the jam for cleaning, right? I'm so thankful that I have them. First of all, I have I have 5 children, right? That's quite a crew, but my 3-year-old little boy came in. Obviously, I've had oils for now almost 10 years. Wow, it's kind of amazing. doTERRA oils. And I'm so thankful I knew how to clean with them because he eats everything. And I mean everything. So he will take the cleaner spray that is just laying around and he'll squirt it in his mouth. But you know what's cool is I don't care. I'm like, yep, good, you go, boy. Like, he doesn't always love it. Sometimes it's a, funky taste to him. But you know what? I'm so thankful that these are non-toxic and they're safe and they're effective. And I don't have to worry about it. I mean, I don't always leave them around, just sometimes. Okay. So I just want to give you a quick tip. So I love little washcloths, reusable washcloths. I get these from a little lady who knits them at the farmer's market. Super simple. And I get these wet. And sometimes this is all I use, right? So I'll clean my windows, I'll clean my counters, I'll clean my sink, and I'll just take lemon and I'll throw 1 or 2, maybe 3 drops. I actually go like this, but could be wasteful to some of you. And if that is, just do 2 or 3. Like to me, I'm like, I'm so thankful. And then I just go clean like crazy. And I dust with that. I mean, you can dust everything with that, like glass and my wood, like everything. That is my quickest mom hack on the planet. And I don't feel like I have to add more. I just add more water. Sometimes I'll just stick it in a bowl with a couple drops of lemon instead. If I'm going bigger, like if I'm cleaning my car out, I'll do that same thing. But that's so simple, right? Like super easy to just knock out real quick. I do like using the eucalyptus also in a diffuser to help clean the air in my house. If it's like spring cleaning time and I'm dusting, that's my favorite oil. I just feel like the dust is like skin cells and that's kind of weird in my brain. So I like to throw eucalyptus in my diffuser and let that kind of emulsify through the house while I'm cleaning dead things. And that's kind of my main jam, but it is so cheap. I mean, you guys, I don't know if I'm sure you're all cleaning. I do have to put a plug in too, that not only is it super cheap to use your oils to clean, and water, like really like the cleanest water is cleansing in itself, but adding your oils to kill the extra, super cheap. But I do want to add that if everyone got rid of one toxic commercial cleaner, this is a 10-year ago study by the Environmental Working Group, they'd be able to heat 280,000 homes a year. That is pretty amazing, right? And that was a 10-year ago study. So I don't really know what it is now, but I know 10 years ago, it's been a while since I thought about that. But that's pretty powerful. So like, I mean, where everyone is concerned about like the earth and the warming of the earth and whatever. But like, if we just gave up some of our nasty cleaners, like, right? Like, well, let's just do that. Let's just start by how we clean our homes, how we take care of ourselves, and we're going to fix the earth anyway, because we're part of it, right? So being part of that and extending that further is a huge step in making it comfortable for everybody. Anyway, that's one of my main tips. Yeah, you can also use, since I'm talking about lemon, you can also use, I like food grade, or hydrogen peroxide, and it kind of is like a bleach. You can throw that in your sink and it's like makes it a little bit brighter. You can throw it in your dishes that have maybe that little kind of tinge, like your white dishes. I actually have a plate right here. It's a little scary, has some things on it, but they get those little marks on it. You can try scrubbing it with that and a little bit of baking soda and see if it comes off. Might work out, depends on your dishes, but pretty fabulous. And legit, I love how Arin described her. She's like a little witch in the kitchen. That's how I am with everything. I'm like, oh, laundry soap, here's some borax, here's some oils, bye. Like, it's just, you just kind of get lazy. But I do encourage you to look on the blog or look at other people's ideas for cleaning and just start doing something small. Make one new cleaner today that you haven't used before and try it out, because it's kind of cool. And then eventually you'll be the same as all of us, where we're just like, it's pretty cool.
That's great. Thanks, Kierstin.
Sure.
A couple other little like cleaning hacks would be furniture polish. You don't have to buy furniture polish. You can use walnut oil or olive oil, a little vinegar, a little wild orange is a great one. One of my favorites would be baking soda. Like you take a cup of baking soda, put it in a quart size, like a little jelly jam mason jar, a few drops of lemongrass, and a squirt of the On Guard concentrated cleaner, and it makes the best sink scrub ever. It smells so good. That's one of my favorite things about cleaning with the oils is I'm cleaning with plants. So instead of like, get the kids out of the area because the products are all toxic and make sure they're not under the sink, I'll be cleaning and I'm giving myself an aromatherapy treatment. And it's so, so incredible. Does anybody else on the call want to put in the chat one of your favorite cleaning hacks that you have used with the oils, or any cleaning products that you have? I would say if anybody gets Sharpie on the walls accidentally, or Sharpie anywhere, that lemon will take it right off. That's really great. I like to keep a bottle of something yummy smelling in my bathroom, because sometimes your toilet can get a little stinky, especially if you have boys in the house. You can put a few drops of like spearmint or purify in the toilet. It's also nice to just have some rags in the bathroom and use Kierstin's trick where you wipe everything down with a few drops of spearmint or a few drops of lemon. If you're really into DIY, you can make little, they're like little cubes that you put in the toilet, like a toilet refresh. So some people like to have those just on the back of the toilet, and you can make those. There's so many fun ways to clean with the oils. If you have hardwood floors and you're mopping, add some Siberian fir or Douglas fir or black spruce to your mop water. And then it's this like moment in my head where I go, I'm mopping my wood floors with wood. And I love to have those great moments. We're going to turn it over to Contessa now, because there's also really fun things that you can do for cleaning more like the energy of your house with oils. So tell us about that, Contessa.
Oh, you're muted, love.
Thank you. I just was saying, I love what Ariana just said about patchouli and cashmere. Talk about velvet on velvet. That sounds so decadent. Well, just building on what Kierstin said, cleaning with the oils in the first place, we are already tackling the energy of ourselves and our home around us. So even if you don't remember any of these tips, just doing what Kierstin said, you are already shifting the energy in your home by using the plants. And one of the other key elements, I wanted to talk quickly about doorways, sweeping, and dancing. All three things pretty much include movement in your clearing of energy work. So usually when we're clearing energy, there's some stagnancy, there's things stuck, there's dust on the physical level, dust stuck to things, dirt, molds, or mildews growing, solidifying onto our walls. And the same thing can happen in our energy field. So just applying movement to any of these, using the oil, using plants, that's what helps us when we use water with the oils as well. Like it's creating that movement for us to, the oils are cleansing and then the water is helping move that away. So a few tricks I like to do. Sweeping always is a great movement energy. You are, even if you aren't physically sweeping, you can go around and energetically sweep your home. So you can put the oils on one of those beautiful old brooms or those cinnamon brooms you can find. And you can just go through your house and just wipe away and sweep away if you're feeling something like, especially a lot of energy gets stuck in the bathrooms, in closets, in sinks, in wherever water is coming out, in front of mirrors. These are also like magnet places for energy to get stuck. So taking any sort of, even your hand or a paper towel, and that's sweeping energy with any of the oils. I love to do it in the vacuum as well, like take it to the electronic version. I love to put the oils in my vacuum and have that sense of sucking up the old energy and containing it somewhere, and then being able to take it out of your home and dispose of that energy. And it is just we've been sweeping since, I don't know, since we began having homes, I think. The tradition of sweeping. And also it's this sense of moving your body. And I feel like we're the biggest tools and energy guides in our home. So you being the tool of movement is so important. Another way to energetically really get things moving is apply the oils to yourself, do your own self-care, and then take your body and move it through your house, either with dancing, playing with your kids, like anything, playing with the animals, getting it on the animals' toys or their beds, and playing with your animals, get that energy moving throughout your house. And it's always great too to have a exit point for the stagnant energy. So opening a window or opening a door, just having some sort of place where the old energy can go can be really important. And as well, I've done a lot of work with cinnamon and shifting energy in different rooms of the house. And I recently saw this really amazing trick of taking cinnamon, using some sort of rag or paper towel, and wiping the doorways of your home into different rooms with the cinnamon, standing in one room, leaving behind in that room something that needs to be let go of, swiping the cinnamon over your doorway, stepping through the doorway, and on the other side of the doorway begins the new energy. You bring in the new energy to that new room. So every time you walk through that doorway, you're changing and shifting the energy into this new, clean space. And every time you walk through the doorway, subconsciously, you will be doing that as well and shifting energy. So you can take any oils you want really and get really creative about what scents, what plants you associate with different emotions and feelings and energies as you move through your house. So that every time you walk through, you have that sense memory with the aroma, you have you doing the intention of moving that energy. It just becomes a really powerful way to keep changing the energies as you move through your house and move through the month or move through the seasons. I particularly am really loving for this time of year. And also I'm starting my cycle. So I start to clean with like more of the hormonal oils as I'm going through different parts of my cycle. So clary sage right now is being a really beautiful energy mover for me. Obviously Purify, the Abode line. I am loving that so much right now. And bergamot is one of my favorite energy movers. Does anybody else? I'd love to hear other people's tricks and tips for moving energy.
Yeah, please put it in the chat if you have things that you do to change the energy. One of my favorite things to do is use rosemary on my front door. So I will put rosemary in a bucket of warm water with On Guard concentrated cleaner. And this woman I interviewed about feng shui on my podcast a couple of weeks ago, she recommends that you wash your door on the new moon with rosemary. She said basil too. And it's because our door is the mouth of chi, and it represents prosperity and where our wealth and our abundance is coming in. So she was like, if you did one thing feng shui in your whole house, pay attention to your front door. So every new moon, you go wash the door using oils. Rosemary's protective. And she is like, make sure you have a nice clean mat, maybe a plant. Your door is not broken. Like if the doorknob is not working or it's got paint chips on it, that's a reflection of your receptiveness to prosperity and abundance. So that's something that I really love incorporating as a part of my new moon ritual, and easy to remember, just to do it every month. Let's see if there's anything in the chat. Okay, some sound issues.
Spanish sage. I forgot that one. And it's coming soon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're learning about it next week.
Next week, that's a great energy clear. I love those spray bottles that mist really lightly. And if you want to just cleanse your own personal energy, I love taking the mist spray bottles and just spraying around myself to clear out energy. And I really love the abode blend for that. And the combination of oils is just so protective and so cleansing. And I wanted to add that rosemary historically has been planted in front of doorways and entrances. As Arin was saying, it's protective. So it's been used throughout history for protection. And I think of it as a very prosperous plant too, and bringing good energy. So I love that, cleaning the doorway with rosemary.
Yes, yes. It's very cool to look at some of that plant. What's the plant lore?
Folklore.
That up. That's, why Contessa is talking about cinnamon and rosemary and basil, and some of these plants are traditionally used for this cleansing and clearing. If anyone's going through, I know someone who lost a loved one recently. So if you go through some kind of loss of a loved one, a pet, and you're wanting to help move that energy through your house, cypress is traditionally the plant that is used during funeral times. So I also lean on cypress if I've gone through some kind of energetic death in my own being or in my home, and I'm wanting to have some sort of ceremony of letting it go. I will use cypress. Cypress is also really good at moving grief out. So you know how sometimes you can come into a home, whether it's yours or someone else's, and you can just feel either a heaviness or a sadness, or you're like, this house is really happy, or this house needs more light. So you can really use the oils to come in and bring that. I like to think about the vibe I want to create in the room. So in my kitchen, I want it to be bright and sunny because we're waking up and we want to be happy and uplifted. In the bedroom, I want it to be more sultry and relaxing. And my favorite one for the bedroom, this smells so good, you're going to die if you've never done it, patchouli and citrus bliss in the diffuser. It is just yummy, 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 yummy. And so that leans into what Ariana was saying about patchouli and cashmere. We also have cedarwood oil. So you could make yourself a spray of patchouli and cedarwood and spritz down all your clothes. Not only would they smell good all the time, but you would ward off the moths. I mean, it just goes on and on, doesn't it? What we can do with the oils.
That was actually how patchouli was introduced to the West, was that it was patchouli leaves were wrapped in rugs. And so they would use the plant to preserve the woven rugs that were being shipped here. And I will say that you are doing everyone a favor by not using mothballs and using patchouli or cedarwood instead. I was delighted when we got my mother to switch over, because that mothball smell is not so good.
The worst.
It really is. It is the worst. So if you have any other cleaning hacks or energy clearing hacks, please put it in the chat. We would love to learn from one another. And
Can I share something real quick, Erin?
yeah, please.
Okay, so I know that most of you probably already know this information, but I'm going to share anyway. I know that, well, okay. So the first of the year really is during the spring equinox. That's the true beginning of the cycle, right? That's the true new year. So this is why it's so intuitive to start cleansing energy and clean your house and do a deep clean, is because you really are in harmony with nature. Like when we think of January 1st as being the first of the year, that's really the first of the fiscal year. And that's what everything really is built on. But when we go off the actual truth, right? So that's why this is so energetically restorative and beneficial to really get into your spring clean. It's natural, right? Doesn't it just feel like it just oozes from you? You're like, to declutter everything. That's why, is because there's an actual true energy behind it, not just, it's a good time to do it. Like,
So true. So true. So something else to talk about is when we get little bugs in our house. And this intersects with cleaning and energy cleaning. So a Cherokee medicine woman told me once that if you have ants kind of coming into your house, that there's actually something off with the energy in your home. So one, you can go around and take cotton balls with a drop of peppermint on them and put them in all the places where you see ants coming in. You can also spray the baseboards and the countertops. The peppermint really keeps the ants away. But at the same time, you kind of want to ask yourself, is there something off in my home energetically? And it might be a good time to do some feng shui practices. So either washing the front door, clearing out the front door. One thing the feng shui practitioner told me is you move 27 things around your home. So it could be, big, like you're going to move a plant, you're going to move furniture, you're going to move some clothing, she said. Or if you don't have a lot of time, the hack is you just pull out your silverware drawer and you rearrange 27 pieces of silverware, and it shifts the energy in your home. But I always thought that was really interesting, because that does happen to me, where there'll be no ants, and then all of a sudden we'll have an ant problem. And it'll be like, why were you not there before? And now you're here now. But also spiders are going to be detracted by lemongrass is a really great one for spiders. Of course, if you have termites, they come and they spray your home with orange oil and lemongrass oil. So if you have bug problems, use your oils to try and rid them of this. If you have bad smells, I know that's something like I need the house clean, I need the energy clean, but also if there's a weird smell in the house, that really bothers me. And Purify is the best at getting the smell out. So whether you're wiping down the counters, spraying things, if it's in your laundry, putting it in your laundry or your dryer balls, cleaning your toilets with it. Oh, and then spraying down your beds. So I have a spray next to my bed. I spray down the sheets and the beds pretty much every day. It's going to help to reduce bugs and spiders and all the things. And it just makes everything smell so good. So we hope you have fun and this inspires you to go and clean your house with oils. And I know it at first can sometimes feel foreign, especially if you're used to cleaning with, maybe as a child, you smelled Pine Sol when the house got cleaned. And now you have an association like, oh, the house isn't clean unless it's Pine Sol. I hear that sometimes with Tide laundry detergent. Like it's not, my clothes aren't clean unless it's Tide. And so the invitation is for you to change that association in your brain and now use these natural products, natural oils, because your health needs it. It really is so destructive for our hormones and our health, and those toxic cleaning products are carcinogenic. It's not good for our water. I love the fact that when I'm cleaning my house, I could take my mop water and go water my garden. And it might actually be good for my garden. And that's such a nice feeling. I can just go and dump the water outside, and I don't have to worry about what it's doing to the earth. Florence loves the Abode spray for cleaning. Yes, thank you for reminding us of that, Florence. So if you don't want to be a DIYer, you want to make your own products and you don't want to do the the hacks that Kierstin was talking about, doTERRA does have a complete cleaning line for you, and it's called a Bode. And it's really smells really good. There's beautiful bottles that you can use for your display. There's dishwasher pods and laundry soap. I guess I'm kind of old school and I just can't move away from my On Guard concentrated cleaner. It's the jam. That cleaner for me is where it's at. I always have it. I use it to wash my dog. It's a really great wound cleanser. So I have it around for wounds. It's so good. Ariana uses her mop water in the garden. Yes. Purify in your trash cans and your compost bins. That's a really good hack. If you take a cotton ball and you put your Purify on it and then tape it to the top of your trash can, then it helps with the smell. People also like to do drops of oil on the toilet paper. So every time you take a piece of toilet paper, it gets the smell out there. Linda is asking what I spray my bed with. It depends on my mood. I think right now I have rosemary in my spray. I love passion. That one smells so good as a sheet spray. I like patchouli and citrus bliss. I like straight old, good old lavender. And sometimes I play around with it. More questions here. We're just checking. Oh, Contessa points out that mattress clearing can help like clearing the energy of the mattress. Did you want to talk about that, Contessa? You have your hand raised.
I actually wanted to talk about just one more trick, and it's kind of the opposite of clearing the energy from your house, but also I know after I clean my house and I clear the energy, I get very picky about what energy is coming back into the house. So a little secret I do is I put an oil outside my house, like maybe where you put the key or the extra key or right outside the doorway. And before, like coming back from a day where you've gotten so much other energy attached to you, before re-entering your sacred place of home, just taking that moment, do it in the car, taking that moment and clearing you before you go back into your home, if you are the major energy mover in your house. I really love that sense of like people clearing themselves before coming back into. You work so hard to clean and clear.
Yeah, I think Dr. Mika taught us a great energy clearing with guaiac wood. And when we did the oils A to Z guaiac wood call. And I always remember that. And I also love clearing my energy with Tulsi. That one feels so nice. And it's just what Contessa was talking about, like a sweeping of your body with the oil and the intention or the prayer of I'm clearing anything that's not mine. I'm sending it back to wherever it came and kind of blessing the healing of that. It's such a good practice. I personally do an energy clearing twice a day, no matter what. And I want to bring more attention to what you're saying, Contessa, about right before I come in my home. I think that's wonderful. I think Spanish sage would be great for that, a Spanish sage spray. You could even have a cute little table with a card that welcomes people, like, welcome, please spray yourself before you come in.
What made me think about that is the new bubble diffusers. I have one right inside my door. So anytime somebody comes into my home, it's like, right as it comes in.
We need to invent a doorbell. Like you ring the doorbell and it goes, oils.
I have to share a funny story about the bubble diffuser. I put mine in my bathroom and I really liked it. But then my partner was like, can you take that out? Because I keep getting sprayed. It was above the toilet. And he was like, I go to the bathroom and I get like sprayed in the face with.
Oh yeah, because he's
whoops. Yeah. So I was like, okay, we could maybe move this spot. But those bubble diffusers are really great for that too, for any area that can get kind of stinky too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so grateful for the oils. I love them. They bring so much joy and pleasure, and they help us save money, and they just help our lives become so much better. So I hope somebody listening is inspired to go and clean their house with oils if you haven't tried it already. please tell us about it in the Facebook group. Let us know what you discovered, what your recipes are. We would love to learn together. We are going to, and thank you, Kierstin and Contessa, for your shares today. We're going to move into the part of the call where we talk about sharing doTERRA so that you can get your products paid for, you can earn some extra money and spread this beautiful gift throughout the world. I am going to talk a little bit about where the network marketing, direct sales, social selling, whatever you want to call this business, where the state of the union is. I attended a training a couple of days ago with Kristen Boss, and she is a social selling trainer. She works with many different network marketing companies across the world. And so she often has a really good handle and a pulse on what's going on in our market. And she said some really interesting things that I would love to share with you all to get our wheels turning about how we can continue to share our products and earn income doing so. So one thing she said is recognizing that if any of us, and please, like raise your hand or put it in the chat, or you've heard this from anyone, if anyone is feeling burnt out, to know that you're not alone. The whole world is burnt out a little bit. And she really broke it down to point out that over the last 3 years, we're talking about our business, our industry specifically, has had to pivot massively. So that's one huge pivot a year for 3 years. And that has not happened like in the history of time that network marketing has been around. That pivot, those pivots haven't happened so close to each other. And so that is part of the burnout that you might be feeling. So I still remember when the pandemic started and we all got on lockdown. And I remember my business partners and I coming together and being like, whoa, like, what are we going to do? Like, A, we can't teach in-person classes. B, people are getting sick and they really need these oils. And C, this is, our business and we need to make sure that it keeps going so that everybody still has their paycheck. And that was that first pivot where we went, okay, we're going to do, more online classes. I think we started doing the Oil Talk webinars, which were very successful. And we actually saw a big boom in our businesses. People wanted the products. They were at home, not going to school. They could come on Zoom. Then we hit a wall where everybody was Zoom fatigued. Do you guys remember this? And people were like, I'm not coming to another Zoom call, right? Wow. And, but we still were kind of on lockdown. So we couldn't really attract people to Zoom calls, yet we couldn't have in-person classes. And it was kind of this stuck point where we were like, what do we do now? And then we came out of the pandemic and it was like, oh, like we could start doing classes again. But then everybody was like socially anxious all of a sudden. I know I went to my first like doTERRA leadership retreat a year ago. And it was the first time I'd been around all these people and we didn't have masks on. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? And now we're coming into like, okay, people are going out and about, people are having live events. doTERRA is having their leadership retreat in Florida. I go to events on a regular basis and people are actually starting to crave in-person events. Like they're wanting, and she was presenting like market research actually. And what she was saying that I think is really important for us all to know is that market research says that people want the option to purchase online or in person. They actually want both. And they want to purchase from socially responsible, sustainable companies that are paying attention to climate change and all the good things that doTERRA is. They want that, and they want to buy from small personal brands. So you now in this social selling world, this network marketing world, you want to think, how can I have a presence online, on social media, make it easy for people to purchase online and have live events? So the people who want to be in person and connect and see each other and feel and touch the product, they have a way. And the people who want to do it from the comfort of their home while scrolling, be able to purchase, without talking to anybody or seeing anybody, that they have a way. And she really normalized the fact that we are in a time in our industry where it's going to take a little more grit than maybe it did in 2020 or even 2019 or 2018. It's a hard time. People are afraid of a recession. They're spending more money. They're burnt out. Their attention is being like, we're attention deficit as a whole these days, because we go onto social media and we're already burnt out from the last 3 years. So our brains don't quite work as well. And then we're hit with advertisements and this person's doing that thing and this person's doing that thing. And so she really just normalized, like, yes, it does. It's going to take a little more grit to be in this industry right now. And it's going to require that we stand out. So we need to think, how can I be offering essential oils, doTERRA products, the wellness lifestyle, in a way that isn't like everybody else? So that when people find me online, they get like kind of awoken from the hypnotism that they're in. It's often what's happening when people are scrolling is you get hypnotized. Have you ever felt that? Go on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok, and you're like, whoa, what am I doing? I'm hypnotized. So that's what's happening for a lot of people. And they're actually on their self-soothing because of the stress or the anxiety in their life. And if you can do something that pulls them out of that stupor and offers them a way to save time, to save money, and to have a better quality of life, they will likely engage with what you have. So it's just something really interesting to think about. So I feel in our business that if we can be talking about the subjects that save people time and money, which essential oils do, don't they? They save people time and money. They improve the quality of life. And if we tap into our unique voices and we really show up as we truly want to. And when I look at this Zoom, I see such unique people, right? I see Contessa with her beautiful plant knowledge. I see Ariana with her focus on self-care and being supportive and gentle with people. I see Elizabeth with all her incredible healing tools. So it's the time more than ever before to not only give yourself permission, but really lean into, what is my unique offering? How can I show up in this online space as a real person? That's the other thing she said. She said, market trends are showing that we're in the anti-influencer stage, which means influencers kind of have a bad rap. An influencer, the idea of an influencer is a perfectly curated life. All the pictures are beautiful and perfect. They always have makeup on. Their house is always clean. And you would look at an influencer and be like, oh, I want that, like Pinterest life. The anti-influencer shows up on social media in videos with no makeup on, hair in a messy bun. There's a big trend in social media right now to show your messy house. And she says the point is people want to see real people interacting with their favorite brands. And so it's no longer that you have to have this perfectly curated feed or worry about being totally done up to go on video. This is the time where you show up online as your completely authentic self in the moment. Whether you're having a good day or you're having a bad day, that's actually what people want to see. And that's actually who they want to buy from. And we've really normalized this idea of purchasing from influencers. So that's the good side of the influencer trend, which is it's totally normal to find someone online who's sharing about a product and buy that product from them. It's not abnormal anymore, but you really want to make sure that you're being super real and you're showing the real behind the scenes life of who you are, so that people feel, I think what's happened is people feel oversold to, over advertised to. It's just too much. So if you can show up in somebody's feed as like, that I'm just a real person over here, like a really real, here's my dirty kitchen, and you're using the products and you're sharing the products, then you're going to have a lot more interest. So I just wanted to share kind of all those takeaways from that webinar, because I thought it was really great and good to be thinking about, and knowing that, yes, it is time to pivot once again. Yes, we are tired because there's been so much pivoting, but the great thing about it is the pivot is into something that is going to be energy giving, meaning you don't have to mask. You don't have to put makeup on. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up as you truly are and continue to share how the oils can save people time and money and improve their life. So I'd love to open up the discussion, see if there's any questions or comments about these concepts and anything that you're learning out there.
I just want to say that it makes perfect sense in the form of connection. I think that we're all learning and still on a learning curve, really, with the internet and social media. I mean, in the human evolution, it's not been that long. And so it makes sense that it's like a new toy, right? Or a new outfit. You get really excited when it first comes out. And then after a while, it's like, oh, that dress isn't as exciting now that it's been in my closet a few years, right? And so I just want to say that humans are wired for connection. And so I love that trend, and I hope it lasts, of people being authentic and showing their life as it is, the good and the bad, because it gives other people permission to be imperfect and human too. So I just think that's a gift on a very psychological level that we can give one another, is to say, hey, I'm showing up to my life. And, you know, as I've been speaking, I had a little kitty running around going crazy because I have a new kitten, right? And attacking my feed. And we have kids and we get sick and things happen, you know? So, so I just say cheers to showing up, because that, from a selling point, a business point, is, I love the trend, but from just a soulful point, what a great way to show up to our business and to life, right? That feels so much more nourishing than I need to project and present something that I'm not, right? So I just wanted to say that. Thank you for sharing that, Erin. I think that's such great info. And I think the more people can feel connected to you and relate to you, I think the more they'll stop and pause, however if you're on social media or if you're in person or however, just letting people know, hey, you know, I want to connect and I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I loved that she just brought up that people also want in-person events. It is time. Like, this is the little nudge. If you haven't gone back to in-person events, it's time to do it, and you get to reinvent it. Same thing. You get to do it in a way that is so authentic to you and so true to you. And that there's people out there who can't wait to be invited to your next event, to what you're offering, because they're craving that in-person connection and they want that too. And I love that she reminded the power of actually holding a product in your hand. So we can never do that through social media, right? We can show ourselves using the product, and it's good to show yourself using the product. It's good to do face to camera. It's good to do pictures of your hands, but the person on the other side doesn't get to touch and feel and smell the oils. And our product, more than most network marketing products, is so about the senses. And so that reminder that when I have people in a living room and I'm passing around oils and they're smelling them, there's nothing that compares to that. And put yourself out there and do it if you haven't already, or find other ways to get around people and get them experiencing the oils. Sometimes when we've been doing this for, like Kierstin said, 10 years, 14 years for me, 14 years for Contessa, We can sometimes forget how magical it is to experience your first oil. And now there's this really cool thing that's happening is a lot of people have experienced oils, but they haven't experienced doTERRA. So then also that magic of showing them the difference between a Walmart oil and a doTERRA oil can be so fun. Just checking in the chat. Anybody else have questions or comments about this?
I'd also say ask questions, and people are different. So I just worked with someone who was a referral to me, and I offered, I could do a Zoom with her. She was in Florida and I'm in Portland, Oregon. And I offered, videos that we had created for education. And finally I was like, do you want to just have a phone chat? And when she got on the phone, she's like, I don't like being on the computer, so I'm not going to watch the videos, and I don't want to do Zoom. And she was just old school. And she's like, she talked to me on the phone. She was using those little plug-in diffusers that you get from, like, I think Walmart and stuff, right? So we had a conversation of why you would want to switch over, and we talked about the emotional property. So it was really great. And it was really great that I checked in and asked her, because the forms of communication and resources that I was giving her just weren't appealing to her. So I think it's always important too to, like, remember, some people want to buy and not talk to anyone, as we were talking about, so you could text them or communicate that way. But some people, want to just talk on the phone. So I guess what I'm trying to say is just ask, like, at whoever you're talking to, ask more questions, because that'll be really helpful on how to serve them.
Yeah. Jacqueline, did you have a question? Your hand was raised, but I don't know if it was a mistake.
I did. Really quickly, you mentioned the stark difference between the way our oils smell and feel and the way others smell and feel. Do you ever have another brand present just for comparison purposes? Just curious about that. Or maybe if somebody has a brand in their house, you can say, I'm gonna smell that peppermint and smell our peppermint.
I did this in a class a couple of weeks ago. I didn't plan it, but the woman hosting the class had other oils. And as I was talking about the difference of doTERRA, she pulled out her other oils, and it was perfect because she had a peppermint. That's a really good one to do. She had a peppermint and I had doTERRA peppermint, and it blew everybody away. I think it's actually why it was 100% enrollment at that class, because everyone was able to smell the difference. And there was one woman there who gets headaches from artificial scents, and the doTERRA one didn't give her a headache, but the other one did. So yes, I think it's a great idea to do that. The worst brands, I don't know, are like Now and Acacia, anything really cheap. But really nothing compares to doTERRA. So yeah, Aisha.
I just wanted to share that before I was introduced to doTERRA, I had a handful of Young Living oils. And when I brought the doTERRA oils home, I compared them naturally, and I didn't really know anything about oils, or I wouldn't say I had an educated nose. And I so immediately smelled a difference that I was like, how could I have been using these? They're horrible. And I literally threw them all away. Like, it was just, there was no agenda behind any of that. It was just my natural instinct. And so really, you can take just about any other oil brand, because I've done this, and it can be a great testament to the oils, and say, let's just compare lavender and lavender and see the difference. And one thing, if you have somebody that's really attached to another oil brand, a really great way to approach that is to say, oh, I love that you've been using essential oils. I would love for you to smell ours and let me know what you think, and make them the expert. So you're not trying to make one, better than the other, but you're putting it in their hands to smell for themselves and give you feedback. And every time I've done this, I have, without fail, people have noticed the difference.
Yeah, that's a great one. So true. Let's see. Karen said she attended a small outside office all-day work retreat last week, not related to oils. I dared to share and give roll-ons to my coworkers as take-home gifts or self-care. That's a great idea, Karen. I love that. Yeah, that's something I always do when I'm networking. So I go to a lot of networking events and I will ask people to have coffee or tea, like a connection call, a connection meeting. And my intention is not to talk about myself or my product. My intention is to show up at that meeting and ask them a lot of questions about them and their business and how I can help them. But I always bring them an oil gift. And that has worked very well for me. People are often very grateful. And sometimes it's their first experience, or sometimes, they've had the oils, but that extra personal touch goes a really long way. And I can't stress enough how powerful networking is. And that networking does not have to be you out there telling everybody about what you do. It's really about connecting. Yeah, Aisha.
I just want to add a really great gift is the On Guard hand sanitizing spray. It's not that expensive. When I went to a retreat in Italy, I took a gift for everybody there. And I actually love, because Katya just popped onto this call. And so that was a way that I let it be known that I was the doTERRA girl without being obnoxious about it and just being really organic about it. And then another really great tip is, just to pull your oils out, like if you're eating or drinking water, and set a couple of them on the counter and put them under your tongue and apply them and just organically pass them around without making a big deal about it, and just letting it be something that people see you do, and then just continuing with the conversation. On that note, even if you're just going out for a coffee date with somebody, or going out to dinner with somebody, it's something I do organically, naturally anyway, but it's a really great way to very organically bring it into the conversation. And I guarantee you, if you wait long enough, people will ask you about them, and or just adding lemon to your water, like sitting down, adding some lemon to your water, asking your friend, would you like a little lemon in your water? Or I'll order a hot tea. I'll just order hot water with lemon and honey on the side, or a tea bag, and then I'll get out my oils and kind of spice up my tea. So those are all really easy, organic ways to just share the oils and make it part of the conversation. Oh yes, so what I was saying is, there is a question, did anyone in Italy then get involved in the oils? Yes, so Katya is on the call right now. She's from Switzerland. Katya, can you come on and just say hi? And that is sort of how I and
Hi.
the really exciting news too is I'm then going to be meeting Katya in Lisbon. We are going to the European Convention, and then I'm going to go back to her home in Switzerland, and we're going to teach our first oil classes. So here she is. That is the result of me sharing On Guard at our retreat. Katya, do you have anything you want to share about that experience on being on the other side of that? Just so other people can learn. And
Yeah, sorry I came late. I think time has changed in the US.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Which was your question? How I got
just
to know...
how it was for you when I was sharing the oils in Italy, like how that experience was for you, just being like meeting me for the first time. And
this was really a good experience. We were sitting on a table and eating, and somebody asked Aisha, what are you doing? What is your work? And then she said, such in a good way, I am working for doTERRA. And this, I was really touched by this, because you really talked about this company also. Not only I am talking with essential oils or something like that. I am selling something really. I am working for doTERRA. I could feel how proud you are also to work for this company. And yeah, and I loved also how you shared things, not in a salesy way, not at all, but with your heart and all your love. Yes, this was really amazing to see how you do it also. Yeah.
Thank you. And now I'm so happy to have you join us in our community. We're so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I'm so happy too.
Fun. Yeah, it's such a good reminder to just go out and do what you love to do in life. I think sometimes we have this tendency to think that work has to be painful or something we do, like we turn off the rest of our life to go work. And doTERRA isn't that way. doTERRA is do your life, have fun in your life, connect and help people, and always have the oils present and always be proud, like you're saying, that you're working with doTERRA, and people will naturally be attracted to that 100%. Well, it's been a pleasure spending time with everyone today. I want to remind everybody that we have the Cleanse Prep webinar coming up on the 20th. So if you've already registered for the last webinar we did about the cleanse, you'll get an email with the Zoom link for the preparation webinar. But if you haven't registered, please go to bit.ly/pinkmoonprep and make sure you're registered so you get all the information about the webinar. This will be a great webinar where Sandra Freeman, Contessa, and myself go into detail about cleansing, the cleansing products, and how it's all going to work. And then our cleanse officially launches April 6th. And we have short 10 to 20 minute Facebook Lives scheduled almost every day of the month. Cool things like journaling, poetry, moon magic, nutrition, sound healing. I mean, it's going to be really fun. We're going to have a great time for the month of April as we're cleansing, and we hope that you join us. Then next week, come back for, I have it right now, Spanish Sage, Oils A to Z, Spanish Sage next week. And then many of us will be attending the leadership retreat, virtual. I don't know that we have anyone going to Florida, but we'll be watching it virtual. And so the following Monday, we'll be giving a recap on what was announced at leadership retreat in case you can't be there. So thank you everyone who shared on the call today, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.